So a little more than 5 years ago, I was moving my oldest daughter into her college dorm, and it was one of those milestone days. Heavy boxes, humid air, and that that lump in your throat you're just trying to ignore. We'd finished up around mid-afternoon, 5 hours of some great focused family time, and I pulled out my phone just to check the time, and there it was. 104 unread emails since breakfast. It was those first few days of staff being back in the building, and even though I was physically standing in a dorm hallway saying goodbye to my child, my pocket was vibrating with 104 digital demands for my attention. In that moment, I realized we haven't just reached a saturation point with email. We've let it colonize the moments that are supposed to belong to our actual lives. This is your morning boost. Let's talk about how we start pushing back.
From the AWB studios, this is your weekly morning boost, brought to you by AWB Education. We are proud to be featured on the Forward Ed Network, advancing voices, shaping education. Let's get ready to boost your week.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad you're spending a bit of your commute or your morning coffee with me today. I really appreciate your time. And to our regular boosters, it's good to be back in the groove with you. If you're joining with us for the first time, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here to join our conversation. I'm Adam Bush from AWB Education, and today we're going to wade into a topic that usually makes people sigh before I even finish the sentence, and that's the crushing weight of the school email inbox. That story I just told you about the 104 emails, it stayed with me over the years. Because while some were spam and some were just noise, the majority were from colleagues and parents who needed a reply. It's a collective habit that we've formed in education, this idea that if we have a thought, we must ship it immediately via email. We're drowning in threads, and the hard truth is, we're the ones holding the buckets. Today, we're exploring why we need to stop typing and start talking, and how leaders can protect their teams from the digital always-on culture that we've accidentally created. When I looked at those 104 emails in that college dorm, I felt a physical weight. It wasn't just work, it was role strain. In sociology, role strain happens when the demands of all of your various roles, parent, educator, and leader, all crash into each other all at once. Email is the ultimate vehicle for role strain. It allows the employee version of you to interrupt the parent version of you at a moment's notice. I've been thinking about this because research in organizational psychology keeps pointing to something called the cost of task switching. Every time we glance at a notification, even if we don't reply, it takes our brain an average of 23 minutes to return to deep focus. Now, do the math on 104 emails in 5 hours. That's an impossible equation. We aren't just staying informed, we are living in a state of constant mental fragmentation. There's a line I came across recently from a study on digital wellness in schools that I can't shake it. It describes the modern educator's inbox not as a tool, but as a list of other people's priorities for your day. Think about that. Think about your typical Tuesday. You're in the middle of a complex lesson plan, or you're sitting with a student who's finally opening up about a hard situation at home. Your laptop pings. It's an email about the duty roster for next month. Then another. Maybe this one's about a missing stapler in the workroom. Every one is a tiny ask for your brain to leave the room you're in and enter into this digital one. We've convinced ourselves that this is efficiency. We think, I'll just blast this out to everyone so I don't forget. But in doing so, we are essentially saying that our need to offload a thought is more important than our colleagues' need to focus. We are doing this to ourselves. We've traded the quiet intentionality of the classroom for the frantic urgency of the inbox, and the research shows that it's driving us straight toward a wall of decision fatigue. By the time we actually get to the students, we've already made 1,000 tiny digital decisions, and we're exhausted before the first bell even rings.
This segment of your Morning Boost is sponsored by Grunmeyer Leader Services. Since 2013, GLS has been a trusted partner for school districts across the Midwest, specializing in executive recruitment and leadership support. They believe that great schools start with great leaders, and they are here to help you find the perfect fit for your district. Transform your school's future with the right leader at the helm. Visit 𝗪𝗏𝗪-𝗨𝗪 to learn more. 𝗪𝗏𝗪 Leader Services, transforming education one leader at a time.
Now, one of the biggest traps of email is the illusion of communication. We hit send and we feel a sense of relief. The information is out there, but communication isn't just the delivery of data. It's the shared understanding between two humans. As a teacher, we've learned often the hard way that I get so much more from a simple 3-minute conversation than I ever will from a 10-email thread. And why? Because an email is received by the receiver in whatever state they are in. You have zero control over how your words are interpreted once they hit that screen. If you're a teacher and you send a parent a quick update about their child's behavior at 4:30 p.m., you might mean it as a helpful heads up, but that parent might be stuck in traffic, stressed out about their own job, and they read your words as an indictment of their parenting. Suddenly, you have a conflict that didn't even need to exist. I've been thinking about the nonverbal gap. People who study human interaction talk about how much of our meaning is carried in the micro expressions, right? The tone of voice and the sense making that happens when we are in the same space. Emails eliminate that. They strip away the "I'm on your side" look in your eyes. They replace the warm tone of your voice with cold black and white pixels. When we pick up the phone or walk down the hall, we can adapt and adjust in real time. If I see a colleague's face fall when I mention a change in the schedule, I can stop and say, "Wait, that looks like it's going to be a problem for you. Let's talk about this. Talk to me here." I can't do that in an email. In an email, you just wait for the reply all that starts the fire. We need to be honest. We often use email because it feels safer than a hard conversation. It allows us to hide behind a screen, but that safety is just a mirage. It actually creates more work because we spend hours clarifying things that a 30-second phone call would have resolved. If you want to have a conversation, you have to be present for it. Pick up the phone. It's not old school, it's effective. Now let's shift the perspective to leadership. If you are a school leader, an instructional coach, a principal, department head, you have a specific responsibility here. You are the architect of the communication culture that's in your building. There's a concept called predictable off time, and research shows that when employees know, and they truly know, that they are not expected to be on during certain hours, their productivity and job satisfaction skyrocket. But in schools, we've let email bleed into everything. We've created a culture where the good teacher is the one who replies at 11 p.m. If you're a leader, you have to protect people from themselves. Honestly, you have to protect them from you. I've seen school leaders who have started implementing email etiquette protocols, and it's not just a PDF and a handbook. This is a lived value. It starts with eliminating the unnecessary. Before you hit send on that staff-wide email, ask yourself, does this need to be an email? Could this be a 1-minute video update? Could it be a wait for the Friday huddle? Or better yet, is this just a conversation I need to have with 3 specific people instead of my whole staff? Let's think about establishing a few clear protocols. Number 1, let's start with the no send zones. No school emails between 6 p.m. and 7 a.m. If a leader has a thought that night, they just use the schedule send feature. People, it's in every single email thing that we have. Use it. Use that schedule send feature for the next morning so people read it while they're at work. Another one to think about is the weekend shield. Weekends are for recovery, not catching up on threads. Protect your weekends. The phone first rule. If a topic is emotional, complex, or involves more than 2 people, it's a phone call or a meeting, period. End of sentence. As a leader, you have to model this. If you tell your staff to disconnect, but then you send them 3 emails on a Saturday morning, your actions are speaking louder than your words. You are signaling that the work never stops. And that is how you lose your best people to burnout and, frankly, to moral injury. that feeling that they can never do enough to be able to provide the service for your school. We can do this, people. We can decide that the 104 email day is an outlier, not the standard. We just need the courage to stop the reply all madness and start looking each other in the eye again.
Have you listened to Control-Shift-Lead, the new podcast from AWB Education and Inspired Edification?
He stayed with the basics. He was never flashy. And I think that's one of the things that people like.
If not, you are missing out.
And I think of the word vulnerable comes to mind.
All the time. Yep.
Every month, Jim and Adam bring you 3 things: something you can control, something that will shift your thinking, and something that can help you lead your school district or building.
I need our staff to be that.
Search for Control-Shift-Lead wherever you get your podcasts and start listening today.
As you head into this week, I want you to think back to a moment like mine in that college dorm. Think about a time when you were supposed to be all there for someone that you love, but that little red notification bubble was pulling you away. That feeling of being divided, that's not a requirement of this job. That's a symptom of a system that we've allowed to get out of hand. This week, I want to challenge you to do one thing. The next time you start typing an email that's more than 2 paragraphs long, or the next time you feel that tinge of anxiety about how a message will be received, stop. Delete the draft. Pick up the phone. Walk to the classroom across the hall. Say, "Hey, I was going to email you, but I'd rather just talk it through for a second." Watch what happens to your stress levels. Watch what happens to the quality of that relationship. You'll find that the efficiency of email is often a lie, but the effectiveness of a human voice is very, very real. Whether you're listening to this morning, whether you're in the car or a walk or sitting in a quiet classroom before the chaos starts, just know that your time is valuable. Your presence is the most important thing that you bring to a school. Don't let it get buried in an inbox. Thanks for being part of the work, and thank you for spending your time with us this morning. We absolutely appreciate everything you do for your students and your community. Be back again next week as we talk with you again and have a wonderful guest coming. Dr. Jill Urick will join us on Your Morning Boost and talk about coaching and leadership, so stay tuned for that one. Till that time, everybody, have a wonderful week. Thank you for listening. We'll talk with you again next week.
That concludes another episode of Your Morning Boost, an AWB Education production. To find more incredible content, be sure to check out other amazing education shows on the Forward Ed Network, where they are truly advancing voices and shaping education. Join us again next week. Until then, keep boosting your impact.